the doomsday clock is 2 minutes to midnight. There are 13 days left. This is Legendary Tactics.
So how did you hear about this game?
Actually, I was watching a video on games that were in the vein of Twilight Struggle, which I absolutely loved, and I came across this game called 13 Days. It's a bit of a pared down version. They called it Twilight Struggle Light, which I would kind of agree with. And it's a really neat little simplified game of Twilight with only let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 spaces on the board. Now you do have the DEFCON track on the far right side there, which kind of is similar to the DEFCON status, but it plays a little more heavily in this game.
And this is a loss condition that if this gets up to DEFCON 1 by the end of the phases, then that's a loss condition?
Correct. So, and actually, there's actually a little more subtlety to that than just that. If all 3 of your pieces are in DEFCON 2 or above, you lose.
Yes. Okay.
If any one of your pieces in DEFCON 1, you lose.
Yes.
So you have to, there's a lot of, and because there's 3 different DEFCON tracks, you have to be very careful of that as you move forward. As well as another reason they simplify it from Twilight is where Twilight has the 20 plus minus. This only has 5 plus minus. So they've kind of watered that down a little bit, but they've made it a really engaging kind of game, especially with that DEFCON track. I find that's a real key element to it. So
and let me get this straight. In order to beat you, I've got to get this prestige token to go to the left. This is sort of like a tug of war between us. It's going to go back
Correct.
and forth, and I need to get that as close to me as possible.
Right, and just to verify, you are playing the American side. I am playing the Russian side.
Perfect. So I'll be President Kennedy, and you can take Premier Khrushchev.
Khrushchev, yes, I will be.
Perfect.
So
actually,
now
I don't know if
yes?
you. So I haven't played this game before. This is my first run through, but I find it kind of interesting here that so we start the game with 17 markers. 15 are in our bag. We've got Turkey and Italy have 2 of my. These are called influence tokens, correct?
Yes, correct. Or command tokens in the game, but yes.
Right, because the U.S. actually had bases, missile bases with nuclear weapons in Turkey and Italy, so that's kind of a neat.
Yeah, so they do play a little bit of a historical precedence in the game, which is kind of neat.
The Cuba seems really obvious. I mean, because Khrushchev started building secretly bases in Cuba, but do you know why you've got one starting in Berlin there?
Well, with the Berlin Wall, of course, right? So they'll be giving us the Berlin Wall.
Right. So because the Soviets or USSR had control of East Germany,
East Berlin, yes,
or East Berlin, yes, and then the Americans had West Berlin. So I think the problem was that I think the Soviets were basically threatening to invade West Berlin and take it over, and there was nothing that the Americans could do except say, we're gonna launch a nuclear weapon if you attack us. But I mean, it's a pretty big bluff to call if it is in fact a bluff, right? And
oh yeah,
it seemed like
Kennedy
sort of backed himself into a corner, and
right.
So he had to respond when they started building bases in Cuba. You couldn't just ignore it.
Right. So there was and that's what also raised that the whole DEFCON level and the doomsday clock.
Yeah, so thematically, I at first blush, I really like how simple it looks, and I know for me, Twilight Struggle is a bit heavy. I find it completely stressful, and I know you love a game with
I do.
Tons of stress, tons of tough decisions. Does this one have pretty good decision making too that you need to make?
Yeah, but again, as they called it, Twilight Light, and it really does kind of follow that imprint. So it's not because again with Twilight you're playing the entire global map, and this is just kind of a little snapshot, a nine country snapshot. So
perfect.
It makes it way more, or actually 6 country with the 3 television, United Nations, and alliances as well. So really, it's only 6. So it makes it much more manageable for players that may be engaged into a similar idea, but not with the complexity of a Twilight.
Perfect. Well, why don't we jump right in? I've got the game set up in front of me here. I mean, Tabletop Simulator basically sets it up. So we've got the board down.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
I've got the US, you've got USSR. We got our 17 influence cubes, 3 flag counters. Which ones are those?
So those flag counters are going to be in front of you. They're going to be those 3 little squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually place our 3 squares on the 3 cards that have been pre-dealt to us, the agenda cards. And we're going to drop those down now, and it doesn't really matter the order. What's going to be important, though, is that we're going to pick one of those 3 that we want to dominate in by the end of the round.
Right. Okay.
The game is based into 3 specific turns, or 3 rounds, and so this is the first of 3.
This is a quick game, then.
Very much so, yeah. So a lot of the reviews say that this is played in under 40 to 45 minutes easily. So
perfect.
There's not a lot of
I'll mop the floor
time
with you in 30 minutes.
Yes. Okay, so did you want to go first and place your 3, or do you want to do it back
Sure.
and forth? Or
should I have chosen my agenda already?
So you're gonna pick. We're gonna actually place our cubes where our agenda say. So
okay. So
if you'd like, I'd go first here. So I can. My first one is the military track. So I'm gonna place a tile right above the military track.
Yes. Okay.
And it shows up there eventually. Oh, kind of grayed out, but okay. And then my second one. You said you hit lock.
Yeah.
Kind of a strange
makes
setup
it hover there. Yeah, that's all right. And wow, okay. So I've basically mine. I will be dominating DEF CON in one of them. So I guess that means then that do I need to have a higher DEF CON level of you in order to win that agenda?
Correct. To win that agenda, you have to have a higher DEF CON. Yeah. So if you have military as well.
So this is a win. This is a win-lose because I do not want a high DEF CON, but I do want a high DEF CON for victory condition.
Right. So you want to have a high enough DEF CON to beat me, but not
Yes.
obviously in level 1 DEF CON because you will lose. So
right. Okay.
I had one in the orange Cuba, which is the military Cuba as well. Now, just a word of note, you do want to read the subscript on the bottom of the card because that also gives you indication of how prestige points are scored at the end as well. So different cards are going to have different prestige qualifiers for how you actually score them and score the prestige.
Right. Okay. So I've got my card selected. Now I need to tuck that under the edge of the board. Is that right?
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of those 3, and you're going to put that under, and I have one under the personal letter.
Okay.
Which is popped up there now. It should have.
Put that beside my board here, and then I throw the other 2 away?
You discard the other 2, so I would flip them over, and then just discard them. And then you flip your last one over and tuck it under your...
Beautiful. Oh, there it is. USA agenda is over there.
My Russia agenda's over here. Okay.
Wow.
So just drag it there. So that will be scored in the end. Okay, so now that we have that set, Terry. So did all 3 of yours go across the 3 military tracks?
They did. Yeah, across the DEF CON track.
DEF CON tracks there. Yeah. And,
so that just gives you...
It's not a critical error, but yeah.
No,
okay.
that's fine. That just gives you a little hint. So I'm going to be trying for one of those, and you...
One of those 3 categories. And if
you
I will be one of...
Cuba...
Or the military.
Or the military.
Or the personal letter.
Or the personal letter, right.
Yeah.
And the personal letter works such that I play that with a command card to get 1 extra influence, and at the end of the game, that's also a tiebreaker if we're even on prestige.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to deal out 5 of the the strategy cards each.
Oh, okay.
And of these, 4 will be played, and 1 will be tucked into the the aftermath. So we'll play that at the very end. That will come into play on the very last sequence of the game.
Right. And for those, whoever has the highest number of command tokens is that would give that player an extra 2 prestige? And I should have 5 cards here, correct?
5 card in hand. Yep. So if it's an American card, then it's your event. If it's Russian, it's mine. And if it is a United Nations, then it can be played by either side. So if you've got it, it'll be for you. And if it's for a United Nations for me, then it's my event. So
Perfect. So the game structure, it's structured in 8 different phases, right? So we have, we've already moved. There's a nice little on the board here. You can actually see it here. So we need to increase the DEF CON track.
Yes, we do.
So that goes
So
up.
all of our pieces increase by 1, so we are just below DEF CON 2. We're all going to be in that status.
That's right. We've actually done this out of order, but hopefully people will be forgiving out there since it's our first playthrough here.
One of our first, yeah.
Draw 3 agendas. We did it. 5 strategy cards and initiative. We got that.
So the initiative actually would be you look at who is higher in the initiative status. That's across the top here.
Yeah.
Because that's 0, the Russians have the it defers to the Russians, and they can defer to go first or second.
And what are
so
you
that's
choosing?
Me, and I will choose that. I'm just going to take a quick look through my cards real quick here.
Yeah, I can see how Twilight players would love this. This really feels very much like it.
I'll let you go first.
Really now? Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Very strategic of you.
Indeed.
So I'll go ahead and play one of these cards. The game begins now.
Yeah. So now, just a word of caution. If you play an event card for yourself, and the DEF CON symbol is on the card, DEF CON is affected.
Right.
If you play an event card that is for me, then I have the choice to use that event. You will get the command points to place where you want, but I still have the option to play that event.
Okay. So I'll play my first card here.
Okay.
This is one of your events. So do you want to trigger place up to 3 influence cubes on the Atlantic battleground?
Atlantic battleground.
Oh, can you explain to me for a moment? There's a circle that connects Cuba military battleground, Cuba political background, and Atlantic military background. There's
so that circle will have to do with scoring. As I was mentioning earlier, that some of the scoring cards involve adjacent territories.
Yes.
So that Cuba one might affect where adjacent scoring does come into play.
Right. There's a +1 prestige if you own adjacent ones.
Correct.
So for you, this could be a huge boost because that's part of the triumvirate there.
That's right. Exactly. So in this case, your event. So, and if you notice, the DEF CON status is there. I would, by placing up to 3, suffer the status, the DEF CON
associated penalty
increase
there. Yeah. Okay.
And the way that works is basically the first piece I play doesn't count. So I can place 1 cube there, which I will definitely do.
Yes.
With no problem. The second piece I play will count. And I'm going to place a second and third piece there, actually, because if you notice, I am leading. One of my pieces also is in the military. So I will have to go the military track of the DEF CON. So I will have to go up 2 DEF CON levels.
Oh, wow. Now, how come we went up 2 levels rather than just 1 at the start of the game?
So we all went up 1.
Okay. Why is this red piece, for instance, is up 2 squares?
It should be equal. It's just not quite lining
Oh, because
right.
don't I start here slightly ahead in this particular track?
I believe it's just pairing. Oh.
Whereas I think we both start. So this one we should both be 1 back, right?
Back 1. Okay.
And then this one you should be 1 behind me. And then this one I should be here, and you should be
1 down.
You should have been here, and then you just went up 1, correct?
2 levels.
2. Okay, so you would have you were here, so you went up 1 to start the game, and then 2 would put you up to 1 more right there.
Right. Correct. Okay. So that so I'm clearly in DEF CON 2 status now.
Wow,
So
okay.
now you do get 1 command point to play into the and any territory you want.
Okay. Oh gosh, sometimes tabletop does not respond well. Okay, I'm gonna go into Cuba political background. All right, so now you play a card.
Yep. I'm just looking over my options here.
interesting that the game is won in terms of prestige. So which leader seems to be getting the better public reviews in the world, right? It's
Okay, so to sort of match what you were doing, I'm going to give you this option. If you want to play 2 into the Atlantic battleground, you may. Up to 2 cubes.
Yes.
And I will get to play 1 where I wish.
Yes, I will play both of them, which means my DEFCON goes up by 1.
Correct. Yep.
In military, correct?
Yep.
Oh, we're just flirting with a catastrophe in military.
And I will place my 1 cube into the United Nations World Opinion battle map.
Oh, interesting. And world opinion, when we score that, means you take the personal letter. So that suggests that maybe that might be your one, unless you're bluffing me. Okay. So back to me playing a card?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and play Speech to the Nation. I'm sure this will be amazing. It's a United Nations event, so place up to 3 influence cubes in total on 1 or more world opinion battlegrounds. Max 2. So world opinion. I'm gonna do that in the personal letter. All right, so that turn is done.
Yep.
Now, the Aftermath card, should we have already chosen that in stage 4?
Nope.
Or does that come next?
That's the very last card we discard into the Aftermath.
Okay, right. So we're in the 5 strategy cards.
Yes,
stage,
correct.
Phase 3. Okay.
Oh, I hate to give this to you, but I am going to. So here you go. You may escalate or deflate the U.S. political DEFCON track by up to 2 steps. So you can increase or decrease the political.
In any category?
No, the political track.
Oh,
that
political,
is
right.
The flag track, yes, the green. So you can increase or decrease that by 2.
And can I do my piece or your piece or just mine?
Just yours, but you can drop yours or increase yours by up to 1 or 2 steps.
Okay.
And then you may play 1 command influence anywhere you want to.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I decreased in political.
Okay.
By 2.
Okay.
And sorry, where can I place 1 token?
Anywhere you want.
Anywhere on the board?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll place it in the Alliance's World Opinion for an extra Aftermath
Alliance.
card.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so you have really kind of hunkered down on that. So now I get to place 3 tokens anywhere I wish. So I'll do 1. Two.
Oh, you're really going for that personal letter.
3.
That is not a bluff. You are going all in.
So I do increase my in DEFCON by 2 there.
Oh gosh, okay.
So now I have to be very careful because I have if I end with that, that's fine. But if I increase the 3rd category by up to 2, then I will be into the loss conditions. So I have to be very careful now.
Not having played the game, I wonder if there's a card that I can use to inflate your DEFCON.
Well, you have to look at your cards.
Yeah.
All right. So it's your turn.
Okay. All right. We're going to play the Guns of August.
Okay. And is that that is a World United Nations event? Okay.
My DEFCON is going up by 2.
Ooh. Okay. Right.
Oh, and I get 1 influence cube somewhere. So we're going to do personal letter.
All right.
Oh,
So
you know what? I actually own the personal letter now. All right. So my extra one is... And what happens in the case of a tie?
In case of a tie, I'll have to do a quick rule check on that. I believe it's whoever owns the personal token at the time, the personal
Keeps
letter.
it.
So if it, so if it's going to me and it's a tie, then it would stay with me.
Okay, so I've given you the personal letter now because I used that extra token.
Okay, and you're up 4-3 in the personal letter token. Okay.
Looks like it's 4-4.
Oh, 4-4. All right. Okay, so it's even, and I have the personal letter. Okay, so that would stay with me at this current state.
And you still have 3 cards, right? You gave me the initiative, so you're going to go last. So
Yeah. So what I will do is I will play Close Allies for the 2 command points. And I will play those into Cuba. 1, 2. And that will raise me up 1 in the military status.
Oh,
The DEFCON
sheesh.
status. So I'm just a
You
shade
are
below
just
DEFCON
about-
1.
just
I'm
about
still
to
fine.
lose.
I'm still fine.
Oh, wow.
And that's my turn.
Okay. You are not afraid to flirt with disaster.
No, I am living on the edge. In the words of Aerosmith.
Okay. I'm going to scramble. So we'll place 1 influence cube on each of up to 3 different battlegrounds.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a rich card.
That is not bad.
So you're going to take back what's rightfully yours.
Let's see what we can do there. 2. Has to be different ones, I think, right?
Correct, yes.
3 different battlegrounds, yes. Okay. Let's go to Cuba. All right, so that ends it, which means I need to put this card in the aftermath section.
Correct. Flip it and put it down to let me see it. And I'll give you this event. So you may place up to 4 influence cubes in Berlin, Italy, and Turkey battlegrounds,
Berlin?
which we haven't
and
touched, but you can put into there if you wish.
But that doesn't really do anything for me per se.
Not this round, but
Not this-
remember,
Oh, these tokens
next-
stay on?
they stay on the board. Correct.
Oh.
So that could set you up for future rounds if things work out right for you.
Wow. I cannot get these tokens out of this. Okay, so sorry, it was Berlin, Turkey,
And Italy.
and Italy.
Yep. So you can't put more than 2, but you can put a total up to 4.
Seeing as I only have 3, I guess I'm going to be limited with that.
Okay. And I will choose to put 1 token into the United Nations for the beloved
Oh, nice.
personal letter.
Personal letter. You got that little favor.
Actually, you know what? Actually, you know what I might do here? I can put up to 3.
Ooh.
I'm already beating you in that category, actually. So you've actually lost your agenda, it looks like. Because I'm beating you in all 3 categories. Okay, so I will just leave that at 1. Yeah.
Hey man, don't be
Don't be so harsh.
That's my first game.
All right, so we start by scoring. So that's the end. So actually, I have to do put this last card. That gets discarded. Take this last card. Flip your last card over if you haven't done yet,
Yep.
and stick it under the aftermath pile.
Right, which is right here where my card is covering it.
Hovering there. Yep. Okay, so I'll stick mine in there. And so there's 2 cards in there now, and now we scored the 3 purple states.
Right. Okay.
The
So you get to keep the personal letter.
United Nations, I keep the letter. I get Actually, it's a tie, so there's no prestige appointed, but I do keep it. You score an extra aftermath card
Right.
for the alliances.
So I'll take one out of here, and do I pick it and then I decide if I want to add it or not, or I just drop it in? Ooh, I grabbed all 29 by accident.
I have to do a rule check on that. I believe you get to pick and decide. And you will also get a plus/minus on the DEF CON status.
Okay, I will add this card.
Okay.
And DEF CON, does that plus/minus apply just to me, or can I?
Yes. So for you, so you can increase or decrease any one of yours by one.
I can't make you lose the game by bumping you
No.
up in DEF CON 1.
But you can tie me or deflate any one of yours if you want.
All right, I'll just move that one down.
Okay. So those are the three. Now we go
actually, sorry. Just to double check here, if I were to tie you there, and I have the military thing as the agenda,
then,
would that?
Nope. Then neither of us win it.
Okay, so I lose either way, so I might as well go down.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you really got up there nice and high.
So,
couldn't beat you on that without losing the game.
So now we flip over our agendas, and I'm really glad you didn't choose to tie me because, actually, I didn't have it.
Which one's that?
I had the Cuba one.
Oh, did you? Wow, you didn't have the personal letter.
These two, no, I bluffed you on that.
Wow.
So these actually happen simultaneously, technically.
Right.
But we can play one at a time because it'll be a plus/minus in total. So my Cuba one says the dominating player receives prestige equal to the difference in influence cubes Cuba plus X. X equals the connected battlefields.
Right.
So that's where the battlefields come into play. So it's a -1 because you have this Cuba here.
Yeah. And we tie on
you have the political,
Atlantic.
and we tie on the Atlantic. So because of that, then it will just strictly be prestige equal to the difference in influence cubes. So I have 3 influence cubes in Cuba at -1 because you have Cuba, and the other one was a neutral. So it'll be a +2 for me there. So I would go up towards the Russians 2.
All right.
And yours is the military track, which you did not win. But we have to read the card and the text here.
Escalate all DEF CON markers in the military DEF CON 2 area by 1 step.
And it does depend on who's willing the military. So the military does get a +1, as you can see.
Yep.
So I will get a +1 because I'm winning it. But we escalate all DEF CON markers in the military DEF CON 2 area by 1 step. Dominating player receives prestige equal to difference in influence cubes +1.
Does that push you up into DEF CON 1?
That does. We're going to see what happens if I maybe have just blown myself up. So you go up 1, and I go up 1. So I do get a plus. I'm up 1, so I get +2.
Correct.
Okay, so we go back to resolve agendas. Now we check for nuclear war. And kaboom!
I do have to say I did rather enjoy doing that.
You played me like a fiddle. Well played.
It may have been slightly unintentional, but
that was well done.
I was hoping that meant what I thought it meant, but not having played the game, I wasn't sure.
That's exactly what it meant. Yes.
That's why I was fishing around to see if there were ways I could increase your DEF CON. Would that card do it?
No, that was well played. Actually, that was probably a pretty rookie mistake that you don't ever get yourself even within 1 of the DEF CON 1 status.
Right. But how would we know? We wouldn't know on our first game, so that's
no.
Cool.
On our first blush through, this was a very interesting, and hopefully it was a little bit informative. You don't, we learned a very good lesson here.
Yeah, we're at 35 minutes too, so yeah, it was a nice quick game, and I like the smooth gameplay. It played really nice back and forth.
Yeah, indeed. And I didn't find it overly complex. I don't know how you felt. You're a little more of a Twilight Struggle. You haven't quite taken on to it as I have, so I don't know how you found it, but I found it fairly straightforward.
For me, when it's late at night and your brain doesn't want to function, I mean, not to say this is a brainless game. I think there's still lots of strategy involved, but I like this game better than Twilight Struggle just because it's a nice, simple, quick 2-player game, and there's still lots of depth here.
Yeah. And one thing we've learned is don't ever get yourself within 1 square of the DEFCON 1 status because
that's right. Well,
so easily it can spill over to DEFCON destruction.
Well, and had we gone into round 2, then we would have increased DEFCON by 1, so you would have been up there as well. So you would have had to start pulling markers off in order to save yourself.
Correct. And that was sort of my plan for round 2 anyway. I was going to be reducing... for example, in the personal letter. I had so many squares devoted there, right? And I didn't necessarily need that, so...
Neither of us really did.
No. And I raced there kind of foolishly. Well, actually, that one didn't play as much. It was all in the military... it was the military stratus. It was the Atlantic that kind of... and Cuba. Right. Kind of put me over the edge. So it's a good learning lesson.
You actually had 5 influence left in your satchel, eh? And I did. Everything was out on the table for me, so I wonder how that would have played out.
Right. Yeah, and I was actually purposely trying to hold back a little bit to hold back for round 2, right? So that I'd have cubes in play that I could access for round 2.
That's right. Okay.
Didn't get to it though because the world turned against me. But well played, Flash. Well played. That was excellent.
Thank you, sir. Yes. If you enjoyed watching... Yes, if it was fun to watch Cax blow up the world, then like and subscribe.
Absolute destruction.
Yeah, if you have any comments on what we need to do better or...
please. Any rule clarification, please let us know. This is our first blush through, so we hope we got most of it right.
Thanks for your time. This is Legendary Tactics.